This is Radio Taiwan International.
Welcome to the news on Radio Taiwan International. I'm Tristan Hildebrand coming to you from Taipei, Taiwan. We begin with a look at today's top stories for Tuesday, February 3rd. The Chinese ambassador to Australia tells those opposed to unification to leave Taiwan. President Lai Ching-te says Taiwan's world-class manufacturing capabilities can complement the United States' key core technologies, and the UK's Prime Minister goes on a 4-day visit to China. But first, today's top story. Chinese ambassador to Australia, Xiao Qian, said at his annual press conference last Wednesday that there's no room for compromise on Beijing's position regarding its vows to reunify China and Taiwan. He stated, "There are a handful of people in Taiwan who don't recognize they're Chinese. They don't support China's unification. And they can leave Taiwan. Taiwan is China's territory. If they refuse to be a citizen of China, they can leave the island." Taiwan's foreign ministry strongly condemned the statements this Monday, reiterating that the two sides of the Taiwan Strait are not subordinate to each other and calling on the international community to jointly prevent unilateral changes to the status quo. The ministry called Xiao's public remarks unfounded, pointing to his erroneous use of the UN General Assembly Resolution 2758 to deny Taiwan's sovereign status. The foreign ministry reiterated that Taiwan is a sovereign and independent country and that China has never ruled Taiwan. They stated that any remarks distorting Taiwan's status or denying the democratic choice of the Taiwanese people cannot change the internationally recognized status quo across the Taiwan Strait. Only the people of Taiwan have the right to decide Taiwan's future, the ministry added, calling for the international community's continued support. Chief negotiators met for the 6th U.S.-Taiwan Economic Prosperity Partnership Dialogue, EPPD, last week, the first time they've met in person since the inaugural EPPD in 2020. President Lai Ching-te held a press conference this Tuesday regarding the meeting, saying the agenda was the most diverse and comprehensive to date. The president said that both sides are satisfied with the reciprocal tariff agreement they reached after 9 months of negotiations, but that tariff negotiations are only one part of bilateral cooperation. In the face of changing geopolitical situations, Lai explained, high-tech industries such as AI and semiconductors have accelerated the construction of resilient, non-red supply chains. He underlined that the U.S. and Taiwan signed the Pax Silica Declaration and statements on cooperation in economic security at this EPPD, and that both sides will establish a group to maintain close communication and interaction on issues of mutual concern, working to build a safer and more resilient supply chain together. President Lai also highlighted Taiwan's world-class manufacturing capabilities, which he said can complement the United States' innovative ecosystem and key core technologies. He said Taiwan will advance plans regarding supply chain security, drone system certification, and the elimination of tax barriers to keep pace with the speed at which technology is reshaping the global industrial landscape. Lai said the results of this EPPD will help Taiwanese industries establish themselves in Taiwan, expand globally, and market worldwide. Britain's Prime Minister leads a wave of visits seeking economic stability with China as U.S. policy uncertainty drives hedging strategies.
Britain's Prime Minister Keir Starmer has begun a 4-day visit to China, the first by a British leader in 8 years, underscoring a broader shift now underway across Europe. In just the past 2 months, senior leaders from Ireland, Finland, France, and Spain have also traveled to Beijing. Germany's Chancellor Friedrich Merz is expected to follow in February. Analysts say the wave of visits reflects growing unease in Europe as U.S. policy becomes more unpredictable under President Donald Trump. His pressure on NATO allies over defense spending and earlier rhetoric over Greenland have sharpened concerns about Europe's strategic vulnerability. Taiwan's Institute for National Defense and Security Research fellow Shi Jianyu says Europe is increasingly adopting a two-track strategy, maintaining security cooperation with the United States while seeking limited economic engagement with China. The goal, he says, is to hedge risk, using improved ties with Beijing to stabilize trade, offset uncertainty, and strengthen Europe's bargaining position with Washington. But Tang Xiaocheng of National Chengchi University cautions that Europe's reliance on the United States remains overwhelming. In 2025, NATO defense spending totaled about $1.59 trillion US dollars. with the U.S. contributing roughly 62%. That imbalance, Tang argues, makes any true move toward de-Americanization unrealistic. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte has been blunt, warning that Europe cannot defend itself without U.S. support. Still, as Europe edges closer to China, Beijing is eager to capitalize, though analysts warn economic engagement may also serve China's broader effort to soften its global image. Whether Europe's shift toward a more multipolar strategy lasts may ultimately hinge on one factor: how far the Trump administration pushes its allies and for how long. Joey Chow for RTI News.
Capping off 2 months of cooperation, Radio Taiwan International hosted a conference this Monday to celebrate the success of the exchange program with Ukrainian journalists Taras Andrukovich and Anna Lvova. Speaking at the event, RTI chairperson Cheryl Lai said the exchange offered the world a new view of Taiwan's situation from the perspective of reporters familiar with conflict. The 2 Ukrainian journalists came to Taiwan 2 months ago in collaboration with the Foreign Ministry, Polish Radio, and RTI for a training program to support Ukrainian journalists and enhance international understanding of Taiwan. They toured Kinmen, interviewed head officials, and witnessed the CCP's military exercises around Taiwan, offering what Lai called a rare opportunity for the world to recontextualize Taiwan's situation. She said,
"Soon after Christmas, they experienced a major earthquake in Lima. And then they went up 2025 with a hostile military exercise from China. So it's an interesting and special opportunity to see Taiwan through their eyes."
The Polish office in Taipei thanked the Foreign Ministry and RTI for their parts in the exchange. They emphasized that as the world challenges the growing disinformation threat, it will need well-trained journalists to defend truth against information warfare and propaganda. The 24th Taiwan International Science Fair, TISF, opened this Tuesday. This year, 667 teachers and students from 32 countries and regions are participating, with 233 award-winning projects advancing to the final round. The National Taiwan Science Education Center stated that the scale of this year's exhibition continues to expand. Education Deputy Minister Zhang Liao-Wanqian said he hopes the fair will help cultivate students' global perspectives, stating,
"Our goal is to align the development of science education with international standards and promote high-quality science education. By participating in the TISF, students can engage with outstanding students from other countries and develop broader perspectives at an early age. This is one of the biggest reasons we organize this event."
To allow international participants to experience the beauty of Taiwan, organizers have also arranged city tours, including visits to Hsinchu to experience Hakka culture, as well as a welcome banquet incorporating elements of Taiwan's night markets. The Taipei International Book Exhibition opened this Tuesday and will run through Sunday at the Taipei World Trade Center. This year's exhibition features over 500 publishers from 29 countries, with Thailand as this year's guest of honor. President Lai Ching-te attended the opening ceremony along industry leaders and politicians, saying,
"We as a country should work together to systematically promote reading programs. I believe this would be of great help to our cultural development, to children's futures, and to the future of Taiwan."
The Lunar New Year market on Dihua Street opened to big crowds this past weekend, this time with an expanded smoke-free zone enforced from morning to midnight.
Taipei's Lunar New Year market officially kicked off this past Saturday, drawing large crowds despite the less-than-stellar weather conditions. As part of the ongoing effort to build a smoke-free city, smoking is prohibited from 8 o'clock in the morning to midnight during the event period. Signs posted at the entrance show the no smoking zone has been expanded this year, encompassing Dihua Street and the surrounding areas. Violators face fines of up to 10,000 NT dollars. Hannah Belinsky for RTI News.
Thank you for joining me for the news. I'm Tristan Hildebrand. Stay tuned for another 50 minutes of English language features brought to you by Radio Taiwan International.